everybody. Wow, we are here with Isabelle Engman Gerardo and Gerardo Garcia Jr. They are the two talented individuals that composed the score for the new film Madres, and which comes out on Amazon Prime October 8th. This is an interesting little movie about a Mexican-American couple that moves to a rural farming, well, I guess rural is farming and farm, anyway, 70s, 1970s California, and some strange stuff goes down. Gerardo, Isabelle, how are you?
Good, good. So nice
Wonderful.
to be here.
Oh,
How are you?
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Hey, this is our job. This is what we do, and we love doing it. So, so talk to me about Madres and how you began this journey.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we were approached by Ryan Zaragoza, the director. We worked with him before, so we kind of created a very creative collaboration since before. And so he approached us when he got this film and knew that he was doing it. So we get involved very early in the process of the film, actually on script stage. So we sent us the script. Yeah, so that's when we got involved. And that's when he wanted us to start to work too. So it's very early, early composing with this project specifically. So he actually asked us to compose the lullaby that I'm sure you heard in the trailer. Yeah. On script stage. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was before filming, and they had a custom music box with the lullaby on set, so people were hearing actually that music.
Oh my God. So wow, that's cool. So you had a little music box on set that had the lullaby you composed.
That's correct.
That's so crazy. Now tell me, as far as film composition, what advantages did getting in so early give you? Because what is normally the case with other projects?
Normally when you're brought in, they already have edits. There's already like some kind of film version edit, and you get like 1 to 3 months. Well, like hopefully at least like around 3 months, that would be great. But sometimes it's just short on time and you gotta work quick. So, but this one, we had the footage not too long before final delivery, because we were brought in, we already had an idea of the direction and the approach, and for what we want to do. Also, because we composed a lullaby very early on that's a prominent character in the film. It kind of allowed us to, it guided us through the rest of the scoring process. So it's like the hard part is coming up with the initial melodic content, but then afterwards you just, whatever you're working on is usually based off of like the original melodic content. So that made it like an easier process.
Isabelle, do you have any?
Let's see, am I freezing?
No.
Okay. My connection was a bit bad. Yeah, no. Like Gerardo said, I don't have so much to add to that, but yeah.
So it allowed you a bit more time to form your own sort of melodic story.
Yeah.
In sync with the script and in sync with. Now, how did you develop the sound of the film? Was this something that you discussed with the director? Was this how did the because the sound is pretty cinematic. It's pretty big.
Yeah.
So how did you land on that?
So funnily enough, all three of us, me, Isabelle, and Ryan, because we're talking about horror movies, the ones we love and the horror scores that we love, and we all kind of said Pan's Labyrinth and The Orphanage. And those are very, very lyrical, melodic horror scores. and which is not always the case. And so initially we knew we wanted the same approach for this score, a little bit more fantastical, lyrical, melodic driven.
Now correct me if I'm wrong, but the opening scene, I was picking up a little bit of The Shining. Was that in there?
The Shining was a big reference.
Okay, because I was like, hey,
yeah.
wait a minute.
I mean, yeah, that was one of the references that Ryan actually gave us, in the start, and all this more back to the 70s kind of paying homage to those films. Madres has a 1970s look, and it takes place in 1970s. So we also tried to draw some inspiration from there.
I even felt a few bits of Burton, just a few bits here and there. I mean, was I catching it right, or
maybe it's just
or Elfman?
I am a big fan. Yeah, I'm a big fan. So like maybe sometimes like without trying, you do something because you're already influenced.
Right.
Comes through.
Now, did you in the process you went in with kind of a creative cachet? You kind of knew the direction you were headed. Were there any moments that kind of happened organically that were kind of an aha moment, or were there any scenes in particular that you found gratifying? Were there any new surprises that came up?
I don't know if it was no surprise, but what I found, I mean, what we got to explore was, through all the dissonant cues, to actually use the melodies in some twisted, warped ways, not just create a dissonant sound mass. We actually had a purpose with what we put into that mass, so to speak, So we actually tried to get the theme, the lullaby in. For example, in a few scenes, I don't want to spoil anything. What's close there? But so that was very exciting for us to get to explore that for the first time. We've always been very thematic. We always work very thematically, but to actually do it throughout every cue, it was very exciting to see how far you could take that.
That had to be fulfilling too,
Yeah, that's the fun. That was the fun. One of the funnest parts of this is like that challenge of, well, depending on what the scene was, what the scare scene was, you used a certain melody. And it's like, how do you form the melody into this scary, intense part, versus just like a quick jump scare, just like a couple of hits and notes, like dissonant notes. And so that was like kind of like a challenge. So let's try to keep the whole score just one big lyrical connected thematic score.
And it definitely had that feel. Now getting into I guess the role of a good film score, can you tell me what your goal is as a composer, looking at this piece, adding music to it? What is your role? What is your goal end of day?
Jared, do you want to take the lead?
Sorry?
Do you want to take the lead?
Our goal for the music in this film?
Generally speaking, as a film composer, what is your overall goal? What are you bringing to the table?
I love to write melodies, and I love to create the story, like a progressing story through melodies. So you have the initial ideas, and then they change through the film to try to enhance what's happening in the film and how the story is progressing, and to almost make it a character, or at least an identity that you can be attached to a character or a setting or an overall theme of a film, and to kind of give like that emotional weight and resonance. Personally, I would like to add like more emotional resonance to a film.
Yeah, that's what Ryan does so well. Like when we collaborate with him, he really creates this space for the music. It's like his own character, you know. When it's like a big part of like, okay, you know, this moment is going to be music driven. He already knows that, you know, when he goes in working, and he could tell us very early on, you know, it will be a lot of music, you know, and we just that's amazing, you know, as a composer to also have that strong of a voice with the music and score. And also to add to what Jerry said, like not only we want to create very strong thematic melodies, but also find a sound and experiment a lot with sounds to kind of give the sound an identity too. So not only melodically, but also sound wise.
Yes.
We experiment a lot, and Ryan's also really pushing us, and he pushed us a lot. So we recorded actually a flutist or a musician, multi-musician, Ralph Torres, for this score. It's an indigenous musician, has some Aztec instruments that we actually used.
Oh, cool.
So it's very, you know, connected to this, the essence of the story in a way. And we try to work very unconventionally, you know, with these flutes and kind of process them and warped them, and did a lot of fun stuff.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'd say like a bit like that's like the aesthetic approach or direction. Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Go first.
Okay, go ahead.
Bless you.
Yeah. So if you've seen the score, I mean the movie, you know, a lot. It's very women driven, and this like the stories that it's centered. It's about women, generational. There's the Mexican folklore of these women. So kind of the approach throughout the whole score was like this haunting voice of these women, like these Mexican women, past and present, and like kind of, you know, it's just lending voice to them. And so like there's like a lot of chants. Oh, the Ralph Torres, he had this great all these great Aztec instruments like the death whistle and all these that are like callings, are very ghostly and vocal sounding. And then that tied to like what you would hear a lullaby, like a like what a mother would be singing. And so that was kind of just like that's how we kept the score cohesive, and that was our overall approach.
Yeah, it's a really nice piece of work. The film, or the music in the film, is solid. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
So is there, in closing, is there really anything that you can offer to other film composers that are also working in the industry? Maybe something you've learned, maybe something you've picked up, a bit of advice. What is your advice to other film composers?
Yeah, just quick, I would just say be creative and brave, you know. You know, that side of things, just dare to experiment and do new stuff, you know. It's not always a director is pushing you to do that, but you know, it's always great to be very creative.
Gerardo?
I would say just one quick, because there could be a lot of answers. One quick thing: find other composers to work with. Like just working with Isabelle, I've learned so much from her that I would have never known, or now I'm like influenced and affected, and I'm better for it. So I think work with other artists, musicians, and that helps, because you could be in the dark with something, and then all of a sudden you're more aware, more familiar, you're more used to other techniques, and you have another voice guiding you.
Wonderful. Yeah, as I said before, nice work on the film, and I loved listening to it. And I wish you guys thank you so much for talking to me today. I always like to make sure to shine a light on the people behind the camera, especially I'm a big film score guy, so
Yeah.
Awesome,
Oh,
awesome,
appreciate it.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's
What
totally
awesome.
did.
do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite horror score, if I may ask?
I mean, I don't. And I don't even have a favorite horror. Well, okay, wait. I have a favorite horror film, which is Halloween 1978. Period. That's just
Okay.
it. Um,
That's it.
and well, that's the one that got me like psyched about horror. I saw it when I was 5, like at the drive-in, and I
Oh,
was like, whoa. So yeah, I totally dug it. That has a fun score. It's not the best score, but the
mhm.
theme is amazing.
It stands out, and you don't forget it.
Yeah,
No,
you
you
can't.
don't.
Well, you can't. I mean,
No,
even if you
right, it's
As
impossible.
much as you tried.
We
um
tried.
Jaws, The Shining, Exorcist, all of those things, but then I love my Beetlejuice and my those, so I like it all as long as it complements the film and doesn't overpower it, so
Right. It always has to be at the service of the film.
all right, guys. Well, thank you for
Thank
taking
you.
the time, and best of luck on this release. And please
Thank
come
you so
back and
much.
talk to us again during your next collaboration.
I
Sound
love
good?
that.
Wonderful.
I love
Yeah,
that.
Awesome.
wonderful. Thank you
Thanks so
so much.
much.
Thank you,
So
you
great
guys.
talking to you.
Madres
Bye.
comes out this Friday, right? This Friday?
Yes,
Yeah.
On
the
Amazon
8th.
Prime, October 8th.
October 8th.
Yeah,
Isabelle
Bye.
Gerardo, best of luck to you guys, and thank you for your time.
thanks.